Howdy folks, it's Matthias Schroyer with another devlog. On this one I wanted to talk a bit more about my process and some of the technical nitty-gritty stuff and just I don't know, talk about some stuff that I was working on today that was really frustrating me and how I got through it and stuff. So I was working on this scene where you're on a boat and there's some water, and instead of moving the boat because of the fixed perspective of my game, I'm just going to move everything around this boat. And I'm just trying to set up the look and the lighting and stuff. And I came up with this flare object here, which I'll demonstrate for you real quick. All it does is it's a directional light attached to an object with a rigid body on it, and the rigid body shoots up into the air when it starts, and the light is like a random color, and then the rigid body or the object is going to reach the top and start to fall back down, and you can see on the bottom there the shadow's getting longer, and then it's going to change color and find a different position and shoot back up, and that's all it does, and it goes back and forth and makes that little sound, and that's like the flare object. And so I wanted to show off that, and to do that, I wanted to add some water because I didn't have water before. So I just went to the asset store and I grabbed this thing that'll load here. I just want to show it to give a shout out to the creator or whatever. Come on. Anyway, it's called LowPoly Water by Ebru something. I don't know. Anyway, I can't find it, but yeah. I'll put a link to it in the description or whatever. But anyway, so I didn't have the water at first, and I wanted to show it because without the water, you can just see kind of like the flare effects. They work, but you just got this boat that's floating in air, and so I wanted the water, and so I got the water, and I just took it in from the asset store, and I plugged it in, and I tried to play. And this is not me trying to criticize the water because it works perfectly. I'm just trying to, running into my own glitches with my own game. And so the problem I encountered was whenever I would shoot it, you'd get this flickering effect when it stops taking the directional light, and that's kind of jarring. I didn't like that. And so I ended up spending hours, going into the code and trying to figure out how to get it to work for me, and struggling and struggling trying to do that. And I don't know. I'm sure any of the developers out there can relate to just beating your head off something that you can't make work. And obviously, you're not gonna look at the documentation or anything, but yeah. So um, what I ended up doing is I found a solution that works for me. I'll demonstrate it first. This is the water, and I'll run it. You can see, looks pretty much the same, but no flickering. And what I did to get this to work was I just took the material, the default material from this shader here, and I replaced it with a simple blue one that's transparent, and that works. And that's all there. I don't know. I guess the lesson I learned from this whole thing is just if you can't make something work, just make something simple that does the job, because it's much better than spending so much time trying to fix something that you weren't even trying to make in the first place, and that can cause you a lot of time. And as you can see, this isn't going to be a high poly game. This obviously isn't finished, but you can even see my character's low poly, everything's low poly, and so why do I gotta focus so hard on small details when I could just find something smaller that works? And another thing, and this kind of relates to the devlogs, I'm sure if you look at my post history and you see that I've released 4 devlogs over the course of a year, it's because it's kind of scary to show something when it's not working right, and so I don't want to post a devlog until I've got something that works, and then I never end up posting anything at all because I've got a game that's full of half-finished stuff, and I don't want to show anything half-finished, and so I just don't show anything. And so I'm hoping to change that going forward. but like gotta gotta be less uptight about that. And you know, we all don't want to show our work, but it's just something to do. So I'll try to show more in the future, I guess, going forward, or not. Who knows? I ain't making promises. Yeah. But anyway, that's my flare effect, as well as like a little story of how I got here and the frustration. But yeah, have a good evening.